Today I'll be showing you how to make a black leather rose. First you want to start off with some scrap leather. Doesn't have to be in a perfect piece like this. And you want to cut off a small piece about this size. It's about 1.5 inches by 2 inches. And what you want to do is roll up the leather inside out. Like so. That's going to be the base of your rose, the centerpiece. You just want to flip a little strap right here backwards. And next what you're going to do is pick a needle. Doesn't have to be curved, just any needle that's strong enough. And you double lace it with thread. After you have your needle threaded, what you're going to want to do is start from the inside. We do this so that the knots at the end of the thread aren't exposed. And after that, you're just going to want to put the needle through the entire thing. For this you might need some needle nose pliers or just some small regular pliers. You're just going to push it through. Just be careful, because I poked myself a couple times myself. And then for this first one, you're going to need to sew down this little flap, otherwise it'll just keep coming back up. And that's done just exactly the same way. Just sew it through the middle. After you have your center stem sewed together, next what you're going to want to do is put it aside and grab a scrap piece of leather. What you're going to want to do with this is cut out your rose petal. And anytime throughout this entire thing you have questions or get discouraged about the shape or anything else like that, just reference a regular rose, a real rose. And that's pretty much what it was created off of. So you got your rose petal cut, and as you start building layers onto this, you're going to want to make your rose petals a little wider as you go, so that it doesn't seem crowded. You want big rose petals. What you're going to do next is put it backwards. This first one, you're going to want to wrap it around. Like so. And then just flip it. Flip the extra part on the top just inside out. So now it should look something like this. It's pretty much the center of the rose. And from here, what you're gonna do is the same exact thing. Make sure the thread is still connected to the original center, and you want to just continue until you run out of thread. And next, we're just gonna put it through the center again. Keeps it all from coming apart. You're gonna want to go through it a few times, straight to the center. Just keep it all together from the tip of the top to the bottom, and just make sure it's nice and firm. Don't let it get loose on you. Now that you've got that first petal sewn on, what you're gonna want to do is get another scrap piece and just cut out another petal, pretty much exactly the same size and everything else as you did before. Now what you're going to want to do with this is pretty much the exact same thing. Wrap it around the rose and flip it. You'll notice now that it barely fits around the entire thing, and that's good. And that's why you make them a little bit bigger as we go. You don't want them to fit around the entire thing twice or anything like that, like the first time. You want them to pretty much cover half of the rose and then put another petal or a third or a fourth, however you prefer it. I like using about 3 petals. And there's the second one, and I'm going to put on the third one, and then we'll go from there. Now after a few layers, you'll go from this to something like this. From here, you want to continue adding on a few more petals, and pretty much just get it until it's the perfect size for you specifically. You know, make this for you, make it how you like it, and you know, take pride in your work. Don't cut it short just because it's already taken you a few hours. These do take a while to make. After you've added the layers to get it to the amount of thickness that you want, next we're gonna work on the leaves and the stem. But after you're done with the thickness, next we're gonna grab some scrap. We're just gonna cut ourselves a long piece, or piece that we can use at least that length right there. And what we're gonna cut are 2 little leaves, stem things that come from the bottom of the rose head. And pretty much it's like the rose petals. You just cut and you make the design yourself, however you like it yourself, or however you prefer it. After you've created your little leaves, you're gonna want to start on an actual leaf. So you've got the cutout shape of your little leaf that you're gonna use. And from here, what you're gonna do is cut in little slits, and from each one of those slits, you're going to create little, you know, the little veins and the lines into the leaf. You can get it as detailed as you wish. So now you've got your little slits. From here, what you're gonna want to do is create a little crease, and from that crease you're gonna pretty much just stamp in lines. You can use whatever's lying around. I like to press scissors across it. Just go through it a few times and you just create your lines and your creases into the leaf. So now that your leaf's done, you're gonna want to put it aside and grab a black stem. If you don't have a black stem, you can make one out of electrical tape. And with the black stem, what you're going to do is put the rosebud on top of it, and you can actually just enter the rosebud through the bottom. You'll see the hole at the bottom of the rose head. You can just enter it, and you sew the bottom of the rose head onto the stem. And you just do that a few times and secure it. Make sure there's no loose strings. And then we add on the 2 leaves at the bottom of the rose head. And as you see, the rose head would be right here, and the leaves would be right here. And they'll actually be attached to the rose head at the bottom. So you can sew these on to the bottom base of the rose head. And then as for the leaf, you're just going to want to find about halfway down and fold a little piece of it. So you're going to have a small amount at the bottom. This is the bottom. And you're just going to want to tape right here with black electrical tape. And then you'll have your leaf. And when you're all done, you'll have your rose. Now, I know these take a while to do, but I think they look beautiful. If you like how they come out, let me know. And if you'd like to buy one, because they take hours, they really do. They take almost 4 or 5 hours if you make them the big enough rose head, because they're all hand stitched. But if you'd like to buy one, just send me a message. If you'd like to add me as a friend, feel free to do so. Thank you. Needle through the entire thing. For this, you might need some needle nose pliers or just some small regular pliers. You're just gonna push it through. Just be careful, because I poked myself a couple times myself. And then for this first one, you're gonna need to sew down this little flap, otherwise it'll just keep coming back up. And that's done just exactly the same way. Just sew it through the middle. And next, what you're gonna do is pick a needle. Doesn't have to be curved, just any needle that's strong enough. And you double lace it with thread. After you have your needle threaded, what you're going to want to do is start from the inside. We do this so that the knots at the end of the thread aren't exposed. And after that, you're just going to want to put the Today I'll be showing you how to make a black leather rose. First you want to start off with some scrap leather. Doesn't have to be in a perfect piece like this. And you want to cut off a small piece about this size. It's about 1.5 inches by 2 inches. And what you want to do is roll up the leather inside out. Like so. That's going to be the base of your rose, the centerpiece. You just want to flip a little strap right here backwards. After you have your center stem sewed together, next what you're going to want to do is put it aside and grab a scrap piece of leather. What you're going to want to do with this is cut out your rose petal. And anytime throughout this entire thing you have questions or get discouraged about the shape or anything else like that, just reference regular